What's up everyone? Welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, I am Carolina, your San Diego realtor, and this week we are here to talk about what buyers and sellers need to know about the appraisal gap. But before we get started, just like every week, please like, comment, and subscribe to this channel for more content. So for the first-time home buyers and even for the sellers, the appraisal is typically the second inspection ordered on a home during the escrow process. It is performed by a third-party inspector. He is completely neutral to the transaction, doesn't know the buyer, doesn't know the seller, somebody's uncle but nobody's uncle in this transaction. And they are here to determine the actual value of the home. They are a completely neutral third-party person that goes in to, again, determine the overall value of the home. To give a little bit of a background as to why there's such an appraisal gap problem right now, it all has to start with that 2020 home price spike that we saw last year and coming into this year. With the low supply and high demand, it totally increased and inflated home prices to incredibly historical highs, as everyone has seen. In this picture here, you can see all the different increases within the regions of the United States that it has increased everywhere from SoCal, New England, the mountains, Midwest, everywhere is different. Everywhere the price has gone up. You might not have as much competition in other states as there is here in California, within my specialty of Southern California, but either way, low supply, high demand will increase the price of a home. It's very common right now for the appraisal to come in lower than the contract price, and that's what's causing the gap. Initially, there's really not enough market data to support the price on some homes. It doesn't really show that, like, oh, the house that sold in 2019 can support the crazy price of 2020 or 2021. Well, the appraisal comes in and he is completely objective. All he's there to do is assess the inherent value of the home. He's not thinking about where your cute furniture is gonna go, the big screen or the pool out back. He is just thinking what is adding value, what is taking away value, and what is the true value of the home. Their main goal is to make sure that a lender, bank, whatever, wherever you're getting your loan, their main job is to make sure that that entity, whether it's a loan officer or a bank, wherever, is not loaning more money than what the home is worth. So if you're going into a home and you're offering $500,000 and it's only worth that $440,000, $445,000, then they're only going to give you that $440,000, $445,000 because they don't see how the home is supporting the value of $500,000. One of the biggest things you can do is knowledge is power. Understand what the gap is, how you can get in and out of the gap, and how the gap honestly affects both sides of an escrow.
When the seller's in escrow and the seller might be saying, no, my house is worth $700,000 and you offered $660,000, your $660,000 got approved, and you're waiting for the appraisal to come through, but the seller's still saying, if you can't pay the appraisal price, then we're not gonna continue with your escrow because I have offers that are higher than yours and blah, blah, blah.
And your appraisal comes back at the $660,000 that you offered, there is no gap. But there's a gap on the seller side where he's now technically losing the value that he assumed on his own home. So it can literally affect either way. A seller might say, if you don't pay the appraisal, if you don't pay the gap, then we're going to the next offer. How are they going to take another offer at a higher price knowing that the appraisal came back at less? Unless that person's willing to pay the difference then. So if the appraisal comes in higher than what you offered, what your contract is set at, then you are in the best spot. You now have equity in your home already. You are ready and set. Let's keep moving forward because you're buying with money to win already. You're not in a bad position. If the appraisal comes in below the contracted price, it is most common that the seller will ask the buyer to pay the difference, whether it's $5,000, whether it's $15,000, whether it's $20,000, $30,000, $40,000, it depends on the home and the appraisal. That's when you really have to think, do you have the extra funds to pay? $5,000 might not seem like much, but when it comes in at $30,000 difference, $30,000, do you have that to pay? Do you have the $5,000 to pay? Do you have any extra money at all? You can also try to negotiate. Maybe you'll say, oh, I can put down $5,000 more if you take off $5,000 of the closing costs or whatever it may be. This is where you really need to lean into your real estate agent, whether you're a buyer or a seller, doesn't really matter, because it affects both sides. We are here to help you understand your options and handle everything, all the negotiations and curveballs that come through. But again, knowledge is power. With this video, I hope you understand what the appraisal gap is, how the appraisal comes to at lower or higher, whichever way it may be, and how it affects both sides. Please leave any questions below on the appraisal gap and how it may affect you, or what maybe even what your experience was with the appraisal gap. I'm more than happy to help. And as always, like, comment, and subscribe. Thank you.